Hey, what's up, everybody? Still here at the hospital. Well, I've been discharged 2 weeks ago. Um, but my son is still here in the NICU. He's made a whole lot of improvement. He's just on a feeding tube, but he's drinking bottles and he's taking the breast as well. So he's doing like a really good job, by the way. Um, Being here at this specific hospital, I would not want my worst enemy here. It's like a prison. They they treat us, his parents, like straight garbage. I'm not gonna curse. But it's sad, especially when you got your child in the NICU and you got a whole bunch of other stuff on your plate that you facing outside of this hospital. For them to like try to put more on us is ridiculous. Like, what can we do in a situation where all we want to do is be next to our child's bedside every day? And don't get me wrong, it's parents out here that they go home and they sleep in their beds at night. But me personally, I can't do it. Like, I just can't like leave my child here at the hospital, knowing that he's by himself. Most of these nurses in this hospital, I do not trust them. They already broke our trust a few times, and I'm not about to go all into that until the situation gets cleared up. But I will talk about it in my next video. But I would not recommend this hospital to nobody. Yeah, it looks real nice and on the inside, but not only do you have a bunch of racist nurses, but we have nurses that just straight up got attitudes that don't care for the patient's parents. And I'm not about to let you think that you're going to assess my child or touch my child in any kind of way if you're showing animosity towards us, his parents. Like, that's over with. So the sad part about it is when you want to go to like the charge nurse to tell the charge nurse what's going on, it's like they're against us too. And it's like, how can you sit up here and how can you let your nurses treat the patient's parents like straight garbage? Like, I don't understand. So anyway, it's okay, baby. Anyway, he's been doing really well. He is taking down his bottles like a champ. Sometimes he leaves I think he drinks about 50 milliliters or 55 milliliters, and then he'll leave about 10 milliliters, and then they'll put the rest in his tube, and then he definitely drinks from the breast. I think for his next feeding, which should be in literally the next 30 to 40 minutes, I'm gonna like go ahead and breastfeed him, because I usually breastfeed him in the morning times once a day. They have it as once a day. But he definitely is a fighter, and I mean that like sarcastically and like literally. He's a fighter when it comes down to being strong here in this hospital and defeating all of the goals that they make for him. He has defeated it one by one, which is amazing, considering that he's been born at 34 weeks. He's now 36 weeks and 2 days old. He will be 36 weeks and 2 days old today. Other than that, he is 2 weeks old. So he's been doing pretty well for a premature baby, as they call it. Um, I believe once he reaches 37 weeks, he will be full term. Nobody has told us what's the plan, what's the like, when is his estimated discharge date. They keep saying, oh, we're just working on the feedings, but my thing is, for one, my son does not need a feeding tube in his nose. At this, I understand that he was born a little early and he's premature and stuff like that, but to be honest, right now he's gained weight. He's 6 pounds. He takes down his bottles like a champ. He latches on the breast with no problem at all. He pees and poops and farts and just perfectly normal. And he is definitely progressing extremely fast. Um, he definitely reminds me of full term baby, even when he was 34 weeks old, you know. So it's like, I just feel like sometimes they're adding more stuff on, adding more stuff onto the plate. But to be honest, it's a whole nother situation behind it. And um, the nurses here at this hospital are nurses from hell. I don't trust them. Um, I Most of the nurses that we came across have been really how should I say it, complete assholes. And they want to do, some of them want to do everything by like the hospital policy, this, the hospital policy that. But then you have some nurses that's really cool, that doesn't mind, you know. And it's sad because it's like every time we leave and we go outside for a few hours and then we come back, it's something totally different that didn't change. Like last night we had a nurse that we had left for a few hours and we came back. She took our belongings and put it up in the closet and told us we can't have anything to eat or drink inside of the room. Meanwhile, all the other nurses don't have an issue with it, you know. And then to top it off, like, our son was sleeping and we ended up going to sleep. I woke up to this lady standing over us, and I'm like, what are you standing over us for? She was like, you guys need to get up and help around here. You can't just think you're going to spend a night here and nobody's helping. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Wow. So I'm like, who are you to tell us, what we should and we shouldn't do? First of all, like said before, any other nurse would have just let us sleep because it is their job and it is their duty to make sure that our child is taken care of, whether we are here or rather we are not. You have nurses that literally will say, hey, if you guys want to get some rest, go ahead. I'll go ahead and feed the baby and stuff like that, and you can get as much rest as you need. That was your job to do that, especially if you saw us sleep. Now, if you saw us up, then that's different. Then you could have been like, okay, I got his bottle ready. You guys are ready to feed him, stuff like that. But she really came at us. So we clapped back at her, and then it was like a back and forth thing throughout the night. And mind you, this happened at like 2 in the morning. So, like I said, and you got nurses from hell. Then you got another nurse that's extremely strict by the book, and it's like, you need to hold him up right so he won't spit up. My son does not react like these other babies or any other child, any other preemie would. He does not spit up. He's different. You know. Since he's been here, he has not spit up. The only time that he spit up was when they put iron inside of his feeding tube and it irritates his stomach, and they gave it to him through the pump really fast, and so it started he started spitting it all up. Straight iron. Like, other than that, he has not spit up any milk, you know. And I'm just tired. I'm sick and tired of people trying to tell me and my husband how we should raise our son, or, how we should do this, how we should do that. We have four other children. You know what I'm saying? We know how to raise kids. We know how to take care of babies. Like, this is not rocket science. And y'all keep saying, yeah, and still it's the same excuse. Oh, he's premature. Okay, well, that might be the case, but also name any premature baby. I'm not gonna single anybody else out, but honestly, like, my premature child has defeated the hell out of every goal that y'all set for him. He has like the mindset of a full-term baby. Seriously. That's why I still don't understand, like, why he still has the feeding tube in his nose. It's obvious that, he is just like any other baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, dealing with these nurses at this hospital is a whole nother different ball game. Very rarely we'll have a nurse that comes in with a positive attitude, extremely energetic, stuff like that. Then, of course, you got some nurses that's, let me tell y'all what this one nurse told me about a mask. She said, now, mind you, we're in this room with our baby all day. Like, all day with no mask on, with our baby. She comes in and it's like, oh, do you guys have a mask that you need to put on? I'm like, I don't need a mask on. She was like, well, I can go and get some masks for you and they're clean. I'm like, I don't need the mask that you're going to give me either. Like, what are you talking about? So she was like, it's just hospital policy that you need to put your mask on, blah, blah, blah. And so my husband was like, just put it on. We don't do it with the mask thing, but just put it on, Me personally, I'm stubborn and I will put my foot down, especially if it's something that I don't feel like I should have to do, which is put on a mask just because you came in the room. I mean, what is the difference? What would the difference be rather you leave out the room or rather you're in the room? She tells me that it'll prevent me from getting my baby sick. Since when did I test positive for COVID? Since when did I say that I had any symptoms? The same questions that they ask me back at the front desk every time I come in and out this building, you would have knew, because obviously I wouldn't be able to step foot in here if I didn't feel well. I would keep my distance. So how am I getting my own child sick? My child that came out of my stomach that I carried for 8.5 months. You're telling me I can get him sick. But I don't have any symptoms of COVID. I don't have any sickness whatsoever. Neither does his dad. So it's like the only person that can possibly get him sick is you, which is an outsider. So it's like, yeah, I'm up for debate on it because it doesn't make sense. It sounds stupid. Like, how do you sound? I'm in a room all day, every day with my son with no mask on. And honestly, people just use that as a form of just trying to show that they have some type of authority. It's never really about, oh, can you pull your mask up some, or can you put on a mask? It's never really about that. It's about just using your authority. And these nurses, they say that they're here for the babies and they're here to make sure that the babies have the best care and stay safe and all of this stuff like that. But if that's the case, then why do y'all focus more so on the negative for the parents. Like, we are not your duty. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are not admitted into the neonatal care center. We're not. So why focus on everything negative about the parents, and then just come up with these different things that's just amazes me. Like, every hour is something different, or every day is something different. This is why I just wish that we had one consistent nurse that we can actually, work with every day, or at least 2 or 3 nurses that have positive energy and give off positive vibes, and just all here for the baby and don't care about all that other stuff. Like every time we look up, it's something different. They want to take the sheets off the bed and stuff like that, and it's like, I don't know, I just don't get it. Why put the parents through more bullshit when they're already like fighting every day to stay strong as it is, and it's like, let me go ahead and make their lives worse. Let me go ahead and make their lives a living hell, just because I feel like it, just because I feel like I can have that power and that authority. But see, my thing is with that is like, that's another thing about this hospital. It has no structure whatsoever with these nurses. Rather, it is in the postpartum area, rather it's in labor and delivery, rather it's in neonatal, rather it is an emergency department. This whole entire hospital, these nurses have no structure, simply because the charge nurses don't do their jobs, which is trying to make sure that the patients are satisfied with the nurse that they have, instead of remaining on the patient's side. Or obviously, I'm gonna say we're patients. Well, no, I'm not gonna say we're patients, but my son is a patient and we are his parents, so we are his voice, and he doesn't have a voice because obviously he's a baby. So we can speak for our own child, and if we feel like he is not getting the best care that he needs from a nurse, because they specifically have a problem with us personally for no apparent damn reason, then we're going to address the situation. And you would think that if we address that situation with someone higher up, something will be done about it, but it's not. So the next step, from here, is to just go above everybody's head in this hospital and go to the headquarters. NCSB, and yes, I do know about reporting a nurse and stuff like that. I do know about that because I feel like my child is not receiving the best care that he's supposed to be receiving, because most of these nurses are so stuck on me and his dad, and they have a personal issue with us specifically out of just racism, or just want to have authority over a situation just to like stir up something. It's not my fault that you came to work with that mindset, or it's not my fault that you were assigned to a room or to some parents that you don't feel like you want to be assigned to. People issues with us is more so, it's like, damn, they talk too much, they always got to speak up and stuff. And yes, we are going to speak up because this is our child. This is our child, and also, we don't like to be ran over, so you're not gonna keep telling us to do this and that, and then we have like 100 other nurses telling us we don't have to do that. Like, stay in a nurse's place. This is my thing. If you're a nurse, stay in a nurse's place. Okay, like specifically, petty stuff like snacks and stuff like that in a room is perfectly fine, because for one, They have a lounge, and the person that's in charge of the lounge, she makes snacks and stuff for the parents, and then she'll bring it to us in the room. So if she's able to bring us snacks and stuff like that to the room, or she tells us to go and get some snacks out the refrigerator and bring it back to our room, what would be the difference to get something from the store, a little something to snack on, and bring it in our room? Like, what's the difference? And then also, like, with the mask situation, it's not like I'm walking around this whole hospital. I'm literally in the room with my damn baby by myself or with his dad. And, like, how am I going to get my child sick? If I knew that I was sick, I would not step foot in this damn hospital. Or I would probably be down in the emergency department. Well, actually, I take that back, because I don't even want any services from this hospital whatsoever. If I felt like I needed to go to the emergency room, it would not be here, ideally. So, yeah, that's another thing. It's just like petty stuff. Like, why focus on stuff like that when that's not your job? Your job is to ensure that my child is receiving the best top-notch care because he's in the NICU. So stop worrying about what me and his dad are doing, which is the smallest shit ever, you know. And then another thing is like I said before, it's like, oh, sit the baby upright so he doesn't choke. He's not gonna choke. He's not gonna choke. He's not gonna choke. And like I said before, I hate when people try to tell me what to do and how to do things when I know what I'm doing. Like, I know what I'm doing. If I felt like I wasn't comfortable doing it, I wouldn't even touch him. It's just ridiculous. And I'm sorry that I can't even come to y'all with a much more positive video than this, but I do want y'all to know my experience from being here in this hospital. It's like a hellhole. It's literally like it reminds me of a high school / psychiatric hospital. I just feel like sometimes we're trapped in a bubble and we can't find our way out. Or I just feel like we're trapped in a maze. Like, it don't matter which way we look, we have to deal with a shitty nurse damn near every day or every night. And their shift changes 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. every day. So it's like, damn, when are we gonna get, honestly, like, since we've been here, we only had 2 good nurses since we've been here, and that's 2 weeks worth of only 2 good nurses. It's ridiculous. And honestly, I feel like we're the only parents in this hospital that has to experience this. And like I said, it's because we don't play games. Like, if we feel a certain kind of way, we're going to speak up. I don't care who feels any kind of way, who has anything to say about it. This is our son. So he's sleeping right now, so he just like knocked out for the time being, because his next feeding is at 2 o'clock, but his schedule is actually starting to change up. He's getting hungrier way sooner than that. So yeah, it's a lot we've been dealing with, y'all, and I'm gonna continue to keep y'all updated on this hellhole. So I'm gonna continue to keep y'all updated on this hellhole. It's like nothing but nurses from hell. Not one time have we went like a consistent week with a good nurse or a few good nurses. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I would not want my worst enemy to come to this hospital. Stay far away from it. Okay, so and if y'all got any questions, put in the comment section. Other than that, I'm gonna continue to keep y'all updated.